Hey everybody, it's Jeremy with Ned Hills. Today we're going to try to change the bed cover on this 2003 F-150. It's got some holes in it. I have no idea how old it is, but I've had it for 4 years. It's done a good job, so let's go get after it. All right, so why are we changing this thing? Well, it's gotten kind of dry rotted. You can see it's tearing. It's been tearing for several months now. It's just dry rotted, peeling right off of there. This has got kind of a retro look to it, I guess. It's got these little buttons all along here, but it's a full tilt system by Extang. I guess it's no longer made. But what I like about it and why I didn't want to just get something new or different is because that clamshell opened right up like that. And then I'm going to show you here in a little bit how we take this thing off, but it's real simple. You just pop these off, this little connection points right there, lift it almost straight up, and this thing comes right off. It's really handy, and it really keeps stuff dry. I've never really had any problems until I got the hole up there, of course. But you know, I've got this other liner in here, so if any water does come down through here, it goes right underneath the liner and out the back of the bed. I've never had anything really get wet in here. So I really like the system. No need to spend a bunch of money on a new one. And we got a new replacement cover. Shipping, taxes included, everything for like 140 bucks, which is way cheaper than the several $100s for a whole new system. So we'll get it set up here, pull this thing off, and we'll get started. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started pulling this off. Said earlier that's just snapped on. Hopefully most of these will pop right off. Okay, so our first hurdle. That didn't take long. So it looks like this front of this cover goes into a channel, which you can't really see too much because that channel is kind of hidden behind this metal bracket here and also this angle right here. So what I'm going to have to do is loosen up these 4 Allen head screws and try to pop this fitting out. It looks like it's a little bit loose here anyway. It needs to be tightened up. So we'll go ahead and do that when we put it back together. But we're going to take this apart, and then we should be able to slide this cover out of the channel off of the front of this ring. All right, here we go. Like this one's loose already. All right, got that out. Let's see if this will slide out of here now. right, there's the company name. Been a pretty good cover, so that's why I wanted to keep it. All right, so I ended up taking the rail completely off here, mainly because I was having trouble maneuvering the canopy back and forth, lining it up with it on the whole frame. And I think it's going to go on a lot quicker and keep it cleaner, so I'm not dragging this. I know it's going to get dirty anyway, but especially the way I use my truck. So I'm going to set up the camera and we're going to zip this onto here and reattach the frame back together again, and then we'll try to stretch the canopy onto it. Okay, so now comes what I think is going to be the fun part. Is this thing going to snap onto here easily, or are we going to have a whole lot of pulling and tugging and just a whole bunch of fun? All right, so trying to do this on the floor was getting nowhere. Just couldn't get any leverage on it. So put it back on, which is just the reverse of taking it off. And I left the front beam out of here. You can see here. I think it's going to give me a little extra leverage starting out, and I can get it back on later. So what I figured out here so far is going along, taking no more than 2 of these, popping it in, right, 2 on each side, and you really got to pull on these things. It's pretty taut. And then going over to the other side, doing 2 more, and then just back and forth, back and forth. Hopefully we can get them all knocked out and get the rest of this thing buttoned up. All right, so this has proven quite difficult. So what I've resorted to, pulling it with your hands, you just can't get enough leverage on it. What would be really nice is if it was like 85 degrees outside and the sun was shining. and I was parked out in the driveway, that would give this thing a lot more stretch. But unfortunately, it's December in Indiana, so we don't have that luxury, and I don't feel like turning the heater on up there to get there. Although I would if I had to. So what I did was took some duct tape, about 3 or 4 layers worth, so the teeth aren't cutting into the canopy here. Probably not the best idea, and I hope I don't end up cutting this thing, but it's working so far. So again, I'm just doing 2 on each side, pulling it down tight, and then going to the other back and forth, just zipping it up. It's actually going on a little better towards the back here. So we'll get this all finished up and zipped up. Put that front cross beam in, and then we'll take a look at it when it's done. All right, so these cross bores are spring loaded in the end there. Pretty simple concept, really. Just gonna have to put this one on the lower little gap there, little ledge, push it all the way in. Hopefully, pop it in on this side. All right, there we go. All 3 of them are in. Usually you would put these in before you put the cover on. But getting started, that extra push up there was giving me a hard time on the frame. So I went ahead and pulled it off and made sure I could get it on and off with the cover on before I did that. And it worked out. So there we go. We got it put back together and it's looking good. All right, we got this cover all done up here. It's looking pretty nice. No more tear in the back here, so we'll keep things dry again. And for 144 bucks, a little bit of time with the local vendor here, got ourselves a fully functional top again. And I really like this top, so I'm glad I was able to find a replacement top for it. It really wasn't all that difficult after I figured out how to tape up those channel locks a little bit, and lo and behold, I didn't end up tearing anything. You really got to hold on to it though. I think if you let it slip, you'd probably cut it pretty easily. So turned out pretty good. We'll see you guys next time.